So I wasn't really planning on making this a video. I actually wanted to work on another Resident Evil video, but then I saw this thread on Twitter and I saw Expert Fusion was talking about it, so I wanted to see what was up. And I kind of realized this could be an interesting idea for a video. So here we are. Now, if anyone has played Zombies for any meaningful amount of time, you would know that Zombies usually releases with Treyarch games. We see it with Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, Cold War, Black Ops 6. Usually it's a Treyarch game that comes with Zombies, so you're going to be waiting quite some time to actually play some new Zombies. There have been some exceptions to this rule though, like with Vanguard and Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. Yet both modes were still developed at least partially by Treyarch. So you kind of get this sense, if there's no Treyarch, there's no real Zombies. That's just kind of how it is now. So whenever you get Zombies, Treyarch is involved in one way or another. The other exception would actually be from 2014 and 2016-2017. So those being Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, and of course World War II Zombies. Those being the three kind of spin-off zombie modes that people either loved or hated. Me, personally, I didn't like most of them. I did like World War II Zombies for what it was, and the only good map in Infinite Warfare Zombies, Spaceland, was great, and I had a ton of fun with that, but its DLC left so much to be desired. And as for Advanced Warfare Zombies, well, anybody who enjoys that you're not a Zombies fan. If you enjoy Advanced Warfare Zombies, you probably also like Transit. There's usually a trend when Zombies happens every single year, on end, constantly, that I think is worth talking about. Because there seems to be a lot of people who think Zombies should come out every single year with every single new COD. And I disagree with this in some ways and agree with it in others. So I want to make this little video that I thought was just kind of interesting enough on its own without me having to go into Black Ops 7, because let's be honest, Black Ops 7 is gonna if it's gonna have carry forward maps, that's a whole other video worth talking about. Whether there's gonna be the Black Ops 6 maps in Black Ops 7. So that's a video for another day. But that being said, should Zombies come out every single year? And why is it bad? Why do I disagree with that? It should come out every single year. Let's talk about it real quick. Now, firstly, I used to think that people would actually get tired of playing Zombies every single year if it came out every single year. But apparently I'm wrong on this one. According to you guys on Twitter, you guys would play it every single year if it came out every single year. So franchise fatigue is not a real reason for why I think every year of Zombies wouldn't work. And I'm going to kind of toss that aside for now, because I used to really be firmly believing this. But apparently, no. Apparently people will still play, even if they get it all the time. So apparently that's not the issue. Alright, fine. Well, what seems to be really wrong with releasing it constantly? Well, first, I think it would just be down to the fact that some studios just clearly don't want to make Zombies. From what I've seen, obviously Infinity Ward doesn't want to do it anymore. Lee Ross left quite some time ago, so even if he was still there, maybe you could still have an argument that they want to make Zombies again. But without him, and with the team being reworked for Modern Warfare 4, I just don't see why you would want to bring Zombies to that franchise again, when it's clear that even with Treyarch and then Sledgehammer having to step in a second time to help them with Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, it's clear they don't want to make Zombies on their own. Clearly Infinity Ward wants to go more grounded with their games, so forcing them to bring out Zombies just seems like a recipe for disaster, especially considering the live service model, which is practically the entire mode of MW Zombies, where you just have to wait for content through seasons. So if you get nothing, you're shit out of luck. You gotta wait for months on end to get any relevant new content. That's really not good for the player base, and it also just makes it worse when Call of Duty starts charging $80 for the base game. Now it's like, why is Zombies so barren for $80? You get what I'm saying? It feels like if you put it on a studio who doesn't want to do it, then they come out with it anyways, it's gonna show. And it's not just exclusive to Infinity Ward, by the way. If you take a look at Vanguard Zombies, you can clearly tell the passion is more in the design than the actual gameplay of the mode. Nobody there seems to actually have wanted to work on that mode. Aside from the skeleton team that was assigned to make Vanguard Zombies, does it really look like they had passion here? Does it really look like they wanted to make this the ultimate experience for Vanguard Zombies? The answer is probably not. And it's not to say that the developers didn't put time or effort into it, because they clearly did. But it's clearly telling that they didn't want to make this. Nobody at Treyarch or Sledgehammer wanted to make Vanguard Zombies. So forcing it in there just to say, hey guys, Treyarch is working on Zombies for 2021, It doesn't work. It just does not work. And it very much tells when the game comes out and people pan it, and then they have to switch directions halfway through because of how poorly it was received. I can't even think of a mode that had to go back on its gameplay decisions because of how hated it was. Even Black Ops 4, they went through with it all the way into the end. Even with the budget cuts, they still went through with all 8 maps of the game. But with Vanguard, it was so poorly received with the launch map Daronfang, they switched directions and made Shi No Numa Reborn, which I've said is underrated. I actually do think it's quite fun on its own, but it's just serviceable. It's serviceable, it's not a passion project, it's just a redemption for the steaming pile of Vanguard that unfortunately to this day was a massive flop. You get my point. When they don't have passion, when they're forced to include this stuff in, it just doesn't add to the game. It really just drags it, honestly, and it looks worse and worse when you're getting it constantly over and over and over and over again. Now, if we go back to the earlier era that I mentioned, 2014 through about 2017, with Advanced Warfare, it's clearly that they just wanted to include zombies to say that they have it. But what makes it worse, what makes it even worse, is that for that particular game, you had to pay DLC for the launch map. It wasn't even part of the base game. You had to buy that mode through DLC, so you couldn't even try it to see if you liked it. They put it behind DLC. They think it's worth $15 for the base map. They think it's worth locking in the whole mode for the season pass. That is insane. That is insane levels of greed. I'm surprised they haven't tried again. But locking the maps behind DLC, the base map anyway, for the launch experience of Exo Zombies, locking that behind a paywall is insane. It tells me you have no faith either. Because clearly, people who don't pay for it are never going to play it. So clearly you don't have faith in this project. And it must show, considering Advanced Warfare 2 is no longer rumored. Apparently that's been scrapped and gone. So we're not going to see a sequel to that. So there's the faith for Exo Zombies 2, dead in the water. Now 2015, of course, you got Black Ops 3. That got a hell of a ton of support. So that was a Treyarch game as well, and the sequel to Black Ops 2. It had everything going for it, and it went well. So what do we get in 2016? A surprisingly good start. We get Spaceland. It's actually really good, and a lot of people actually seem to agree. And then the DLCs come out, and it completely fumbles the train, and it clearly looks like they don't know what they're doing. Now, it did get other updates. It did get Director's Mode and all that, but that's side stuff. You know, they had passion for the mode. I will admit that. They did have passion for the mode, and Lee Ross clearly wants to make zombies. I want to see him do another attempt. I think he's got really good talent. But the DLCs don't cut out. The DLC's been cut out, and it seems like the map is an afterthought almost. Not for Spaceland, but for the other ones, it just seems like the map is an afterthought, and the main ideas he wants to get out are the concepts of the mode, really. That's what I think. I think he really has a good concept for the mode, but he needs to work with a better team, I think. And you got a really good mode on your hand. Now, you just give them a proper team, give them longer than 1 year to make the mode, and I think it could work out really well. But I don't think 1 year is going to be enough anymore. I just don't think that pushing it 1 year for every studio is going to be enough. It just isn't, and especially now in the modern era where Treyarch is basically working on every single zombies mode known to man, it's not going to work out anymore. You can't keep doing it like this. At least to me, it just seems like zombies every year is not going to work out. There needs to be an off year of some kind. Now, we're going to be getting that possibly next year with Modern Warfare 4. Once that comes out, we're going to be getting a new DMZ mode, which means no more zombies for 1 year. And I think that's fine. I just don't see what the big deal is with people freaking out. No zombies for 1 year. It's just 1 year, guys. Come on. You're going to buy the next Call of Duty regardless. Even as much as I've said, don't buy Call of Duty every single year. Some of you are going to do it regardless, and that's fine. It's going to be 1 year you don't have zombies. And I think that's fine so they can cook. They have time to mess around with other ideas. I think that's perfectly acceptable, and especially considering that DMZ is a really good mode. I love DMZ, so I can't wait for that mode to be coming out. But it's just a new mode. Just let them try, okay? Let them experiment with other modes, see if it works out, and if it doesn't, you always have zombies from not only like 10 other games, but games coming in the future. Again, we have the next game after Modern Warfare 4, and once Treyarch comes back, we got more zombies from Treyarch. So I just don't see it as being too big a deal, and I think that if it does come out every single year, it just suffers for it. It ultimately gives no benefit to get it every year. That's just my opinion though. So if you guys happen to disagree, please let me know in the comments down below, because I really want to see what you guys' thoughts on this. if zombies should release every single year with every single COD, or if they should have some time in between modes. Have an off year, have a couple of off years. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. I could always use a new addition to the Dark Ops army. And let me know again in the comments below if you agree or disagree, and why. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is Dark Ops, signing off.